Okay, this verse here in the book of Enoch is very descriptive. It is telling us exactly what's in relationship to this Leviathan. The depths of the sea means abyss. In other words, bottomless pit, which would directly relate back to Apollyon. And then, of course, we know that the titled epitaphs as they concern Enki, Lord of the flowing waters, Lord of the underworld, all of that is in direct relationship to the Hebrew legendary devil, who's supposed to live under the earth, who is in relationship to this Apollyon. It's all the same thing. I want you to listen and understand very closely. In the depths of the sea, above the springs of water. I'm telling you that this Leviathan is the fallen prince. This is where they get their strength from. This is where they're fruiting from. And it should make perfect sense when you retain what you read right here. In the depths of the sea, above the springs of water. Now let's look exactly the description of this well that Hosea is declaring to be dried up. And his spring shall become dry. Whose spring shall become dry? Leviathan's spring shall become dry. As I told you, there's no refuting this scripturally. Okay? And my accusers want to claim that I twist scripture. Man, how lost are they? How sad and lost are they? How sad and lost are they? They're going by the design of the fallen prince, and they are denying their own selves the truth. And it's right here in front of you, in a beautiful way. In a beautiful way. So now we understand here, though he be fruitful among his brethren, that's the same exact language describing Ephraim as we saw in Genesis chapter 49, verse 22. The well that we saw in relationship to the spring, now we see that Hosea is declaring this, this ain't the good well. And then now we understand that it's the abyss. Just as I've told you, in relationship to the fallen prince, Leviathan, also known as Enki. Now, he goes even further and clarifies this as a fountain. His fountain shall be dried up. His spring shall be dried up. In other words, their fruiting is going to be dried up. The source of their spiritual fruit, this abysmal water, is going to be dried up. There is no way to challenge that. And what's beautiful is that you shouldn't want to challenge it. You should want to promote it, because it frees us from this darkness that we find that the Father is supposedly angry, evil, and jealous and wrathful. It frees you from that, friends. It tells you where it's coming from. It tells you. Now, I just real quick would like you to see this. This is chapter 9, verse 13. Listen to how it describes Ephraim. Ephraim, as I saw Tyrus, is planted in a pleasant place, but Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderer. What? Ephraim's going to be in a pleasant place, but it's going to bring its children forth to the murderer? Well, long story short, Ephraim, English Ephraim, United States of America. USA is Ephraim symbolically. And I told you the sacrifice is going to take place at the USA, symbolically New York City. And now we see that Ephraim is going to bring forth its children to the murderer, to the sacrifice. Who's the murderer? It's the Antichrist. The sacrifice is for the Antichrist. But when they bring this second cup, this destruction upon the world, guess what? Ephraim's going to be in a pleasant place. That's exactly what we're hearing in the mainstream conspiracy theory concerning that the elite, that they got their underground bunkers, they got their bases on the moon. They're not going to be around when this happens. That's the fulfillment of that scripture right there. The Ephraimites are going to be planted in a pleasant place when they bring their children to the slaughter. That's the sacrifice. That's the sacrifice. And to close us out, we're going to end here one more video at Matthew chapter 24, verse 27. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.